Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's a Hardback Life. My name is Jordan, and I am here to talk about my TBR for the month of January, or at least for the rest of the month of January. We're already like 16 days in, and I have not done a TBR video. So I apologize for the lateness, but honestly, I'm seeing a trend on BookTube. There have been a lot of people who've been late on their TBR videos. So I'm not the only one. So um, I don't feel as bad right now, luckily. But anyway, let's get right to it. All right, you guys. So I'm only going to talk about a certain amount of. I'm going to talk about like 6 or 7 books right here that I plan on finishing throughout the month of January, and hopefully I'll get them all done so that I can focus on some other books or even the sequels to the books if it's a series. The first book that I planned on finishing, I did finish, and that was Clockwork Angel, the first book in the Infernal Devices trilogy by Cassandra Clare. This was a carryover from December, and boy oh boy, I love being back in this world. This is the third time I've read this series. It's my all-time favorite Cassandra Clare series and my all-time favorite series, period. Oh my gosh, I love the characters. I love the scenery because it's set in 19th century London. So, yeah, I just love everything about this book. I'll have to go into more detail later. But this is Clockwork Angel, Book 1 in the Infernal Devices. The next book that I am planning on finishing, and I'm almost finished with it, there's like 130 or 140 pages left of it, is Midnight for Charlie Bone. This is the first book in the Children of the Red King series. It's the first of 8 books, I believe. And this is about a boy named Charlie Bone who finds out that he is endowed, meaning he has mysterious power. And because he has this mysterious power, he is forced to go to this academy for gifted children. And his ability is he can talk, or he can hear people talking in photographs. So I'll read a little bit of the synopsis for you. The mysterious and magical powers of the Red King have been passed down through his descendants. These gifts, some evil and some good, turn up unexpectedly in someone who has no idea where they came from. This is what happened to Charlie Bone. And then it says Charlie doesn't want to believe it when he discovers that he can hear the thoughts of people in photographs. But his horrible aunts are delighted. It means that he is the one of the chosen, and must attend to Bloor's Academy for gifted children once there. Charlie realizes that some of his classmates have equally mysterious powers, and soon Charlie is involved in uncovering the mysterious past of one of them. And by the way, I have noticed on Goodreads that a lot of people are comparing this to Harry Potter, and there are some similarities, like the fact that Charlie attends a school for gifted people, and maybe there's some other similarities. But reading this again, because I read this series, or at least most of the books, when I was a kid, you couldn't be more wrong. Because there are tons of differences about this book series from Harry Potter. Like, tons of differences. I mean, I could go on and on about the differences, but I don't want to spoil the book. You're going to have to read it for yourself. And by the way, this first book, I haven't read it in a long time. It's fantastic so far. Like I said, I'm like literally less than 140 pages from being done. So I should have, after the end of this video, at least if I fit, I should be able to finish this book by today. And so I'll have 2 books done under my belt. The next book we're going to talk about is by an author that I decided I'm going to give a second chance to, and that is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I read a huge chunk of A Deadly Education. I did not like it. I DNF'd it. And I just was like, I don't know if I want to read another book by this author. It's just because I felt like A Deadly Education was a bit of a mess. But I've heard a lot of great things about Spinning Silver, and I'm willing to give it a shot. And so far, I'm like 50 pages in. I'm really enjoying it. This book is about a girl, or actually, let me give you the synopsis. Miriam is the daughter and granddaughter of moneylenders, but her father's inability to collect his debts has left his family on the edge of poverty, until Miriam takes matters into her own hands. Hardening her heart, the young woman sets out to claim what is owed, and soon gains a reputation for being able to turn silver into gold. When an ill-advised boast draws the attention of the king of the Stereg, grim fey creatures who seem more ice than flesh, Miriam's fate and that of 2 kingdoms will be forever altered. That's all I'm going to read from there. But that sounds really, really cool. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Like I said, I'm 50 pages in. I think I might continue it as soon as I'm done with Midnight for Charlie Bone. And yeah, this is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I anticipate finishing this before the end of the month. This next read is a must finish. Like, I must finish this book. Like, literally, I've been wanting to read this series for like ages, and I'm finally reading it, but I have not been focusing really hardcore. Like, I haven't really been focusing on this book series, and I'm mad at myself. And that series, my friends, is The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. This is Eye of the World, which is book 1. I am almost 10 chapters into this book. I stopped reading it for a hot second because I just got busy, and there are other books that were shorter that I knew I could handle the last couple months. So yeah, but I'm definitely going to continue reading this week and hopefully get it done this week, if not next week. But this is Eye of the World. It's like over 700 pages, so I need to get my butt in gear. Definitely. Okay, the next book I want to talk about is Clockwork Prince. This is the second book in the Infernal Devices trilogy, and I can't wait to read this one, or reread this one. This is the third read-through of the series, like I said earlier. And yeah, I know I'm going to have a great time reading this, and I'm going to pick this up pretty quickly within the next few days just to start it. And I anticipate finishing this for sure, because I mean, I don't know how many times I gotta say it, but I love me some Cassandra Clare, and yeah, I love her books, and these characters are like, just like, on my heart. Like, I love these characters. I recommend this series, especially if you're gonna start the like Shadowhunter world. I mean, you could start Mortal Instruments like everybody does, but I suggest Infernal Devices because it's like more of like an intro of like how the Shadowhunters became Shadowhunters. And like, I mean, it's set in the 19th century, man. You can't go wrong. Okay, the next book I want to talk about is a book that I really been wanting to read because I finished the first book in the series and I really enjoyed that one. And it is A Good Girl, Bad Blood. The first book was called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This book series is about a girl named Pippa Fitzmoby who solved a case in the first book, which I'm not going to elaborate on. Well, let's just say it has something to do with someone being accused of killing another person, and like our main character Pippa sets out to prove this person's innocence. And yeah, it was a great. The first book was great, and I intended to finish the second book before the end of the year, but that never happened. So yeah, this is the second book, Good Girl, Bad Blood. I hope to read this and then read As Good as Dead, which is the final book, by next month. Ooh, you guys, this next one I actually read in 2020, and I'm rereading it because the sequel came out at the end of 2021, and I really enjoyed the first book, and I definitely had to pre-order the second book after I finished the first one and found out they were going to put out a second one. And this is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. This is a co-written book, and basically our two main characters, Arthur and Ben, have a meet cute moment at a post office, and after that meet cute moment, they spend half of the book trying to find each other because obviously they don't know each other's names or where they're living. So they spend half of the book trying to find each other, and when they do, there's a romance that blossoms, and it's great. I love this book. This is a great book for anyone who enjoys LGBTQ plus literature, especially if they like comedy and stuff like that. This has a lot of pop culture references. If you're a fan of that, I definitely recommend this book. I loved it. And the last book that I plan on finishing for Sherzies is the sixth book in the Dresden Files called Blood Rights. Now, if you saw in some of my earlier videos, I almost DNF'd this book because the first half is just kind of frustrating, but it's picked up in the second half of the book, and I've been really enjoying reading it, so I'm glad I did. And I can't wait to finish this book and go on to the next one and the next one, because there's 17 books, and like I said, this is book number 6. So I got my work cut out for me. Alright, you guys, that was the main TBR that I will be focusing on for the rest of the month. But if I do finish the books, let me show you what I plan on reading. Daisy Jones and the Six. This is a great book I've heard by so many people. I mean, it won Book of the Year from Book of the Month, so in 2019. And I still haven't read it yet. There's been tons of people who have really enjoyed this. So I'm hoping I get to read it this month. If not, I will read it next month. Here's to Us, the sequel to What If It's Us. This just came out last month, and I got my pre-ordered copy, which is also a signed copy. in the mail like about a few weeks ago. And I can't wait to read it, but I want to reread What If It's Us. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Another book introduction is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. This book is something that I've been wanting to read for a while because, I mean, it mixes time travel with fantasy and historical fiction. Three of my favorite things. I mean, historical fiction alone is what grabbed me. But I mean, time travel and fantasy added to that is a sealed deal. And I love me some historical fiction. I'll have to show you my historical fiction shelf later on. Three other books that I would hope to get to if I can. Recursion by Blake Crouch. I love Blake Crouch. I read Dark Matter in 2020, and that was my favorite book that I read in 2020. I have a feeling that this will either be at the top for me this year, or at least, yeah, obviously one of my favorites still. I mean, I loved Dark Matter, so I want to see if this can hold up to Dark Matter and either be better or be just as good. Ooh. Oh my gosh, The Bone Shard Daughter. I've been trying to read this since last year, but there's been other books that have gotten in the way. This basically essentially is about a girl who's not being recognized as an heir to the throne from her father. And so she decides to prove her worth by learning the art of bone magic, which is a forbidden magic and forbidden art form of magic. So she's going to be crossing some lines to prove to her father that she is worthy. And oh boy, there's going to be some craziness happening, I can already tell. I also have The Bone Shard Emperor, which is book number 2, right behind me. So if I finish this, I might just give that a go, or at least start it. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the final book that I hope to get to, and I'm not in a rush to read this because my friend wants to buddy read it with me, is Red, White, and Royal Blue. This is basically the president's son and the prime minister's son, like, come into each other's path and they end up falling in love. So it's a romance, but filled with political intrigue and stuff like that. Because obviously, both of our main characters are children of political figures. And so we'll see where that goes from here. I am really, really excited about my reading month. Let me tell you guys, I am just super over the moon. First of all, that it's a new year, and I plan on doing a lot of awesome things this year. I will definitely be putting up a reading goals video, so looking forward to that, and some other videos that I'll be posting as well. I don't know, I do definitely want to do more with theater type stuff. So like getting you guys to read more like plays is a goal of mine this year. And yeah, oh my gosh. Like I said, I have so much planned this year. 2022 is gonna be great. Anyway, you guys, if you like what you saw, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. That would mean so much to me. And also, you'll be updated when I post new content. Anyway, you guys, have a great night. And just keep on living, because that's the best we can do. And I think y'all are awesome. Bye.